all that. Like, it is not this magical, amazing country that you see in K-dramas, that you see in K-pops. I feel like a lot of people, when we consume Korean content, we think that, oh my goodness, this is the country to be, this is the place to be, this country is amazing.
Talk about my experiences, what I wish I had known before I moved here, because I feel like Korea is one of those countries that get romanticized more than it should at times, but I do feel like it is also important to bring up these points. Also, feel free to take everything with a grain of salt because these are just my experiences. I know a lot of
university, so obviously people think that means I'm gonna leave. Everyone in my comments were saying, oh, she's gonna leave. I'm not gonna leave, guys. At least I don't want to leave, okay? I'm only gonna leave this country if anything is gonna physically kick me out.
Staying in Korea after graduation is my biggest wish. So that leads me to the next.
Unpopular opinions about South Korea. So before I start this video, I would just really like to say that I love South Korea. Like, really, I'm happy in South Korea. I love the experiences that I have made here, and as well as the people that I have met here. My experiences have been very important.
Be talking about the 10 things I loved about living in Korea and some of the things you can expect if you ever visit or move there. So the last video it wasn't that negative. Some people took it as negative. So I thought I'd talk about the things I absolutely loved about living in South Korea in no particular order.
Another place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to talk about this because I think, one, Korea has a lot of great things to offer, especially for foreigners, and it's a very awesome place to live. And so we want to highlight a lot of those aspects. But we also realize that there are downsides to living in Korea.
Oh my goodness. There were street food carts everywhere. You get good food, very cheap. Restaurants were cheap. And even though the food was very affordable, they'd give you so much of it. Like, you'd get the main dish and then you'd have a bunch of little side dishes called pan.
Food and what was the hardest to enjoy. I think my favorite Korean food, I've said this before, is any kind of sambap style hanshik. I love the banchan, a lot of banchan, and I love some wrapping meats and a little bit of rice, a little bit of soup. I just love everything, and I feel like when you eat any kind of sambap, you get everything.
It's very nice, and that was just such a nice, wholesome interaction. I'm glad I was able to meet people like that. I was worried at first because I was so different that I wouldn't be accepted, but you don't have to worry about that. Reason number 2, the cheap clothing.
You could take the KTX, which is the high-speed rail. So you can get from one end of Korea to the other within a matter of like 3.5 hours. Also, you could fly, you know? You can even fly within the country and be in location in under an hour.
Yeah.
So transportation is great. You have the...
It's just so good. I've gotten chicken, Korean food, Korean street food. I've gotten Chinese food, Japanese food, whatever I was craving. It was there so fast, and you don't have to tip. Also, one compliment that I got when I ordered delivery
in English. Also, even if they were proficient in English, they had to simplify the classes a lot for Korean students to be able to catch up with it. And I do understand the need, but this is my observation. I feel like the quality of the classes suffered so much just from this language barrier. Some classes were really hard to focus on, or it was like just so clearly when they were designing this credit, sectioning the credit system, whatever, they did not think of international students. You just can't expect everyone to be able to take a class fully in Korean and to compete with Koreans in that class because we were graded on a curve. So naturally, most of my friends who could not take Korean classes because they're Korean.
I think you learn how to reflect and evaluate and criticize and defend yourself. Go to some of the major universities in Copenhagen. If you have the chance, do it. If you don't have the chance,
find a way to do it. You can do a working holiday, which is basically a 1-year visa where you can work and then
An internship. This is outrageous to me because right off the bat, it is something that makes you start your career, start life a little bit later than everyone else. I felt like I had a pretty good CV. I speak a lot of languages. I did a lot of activities, projects, whatever. I did not land a single internship when I was studying because I just did not have a valid visa.
They'll come to Korea and they're foreigners and they want to pick up like a hobby or something that they probably don't have access to in the States. For example, I know actually 2 or 3 people that are not related to each other. They're into like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? And so that form of martial arts may not have.
They were asking for my opinion. They were not really asking for my opinion. They just wanted me to agree with them. No one really is interested in your opinion. They don't need or want you to have a different one. You just need to shake your head, bow, and say, 네, 알겠습니다. It is actually something that we joke about with internationals a lot. My friends just come up to me and ask, oh, how many times did you say 네, 알겠습니다?
Many others. And I'm pretty sure that there are so many other issues that Korean people go through that foreigners may be blinded to. And even with other foreigners in Korea, just because they look really happy on social media doesn't mean that that's the case.
Learn to swim by reading the swimming manual. You have to get in the water. Establishing relationships. Relationships take time, my friends. I think it's not just in Korea, but wherever there are major expat communities, any place in the world, it seems to be quite transient. You're gonna have people who come and people who go. But when you spend a
Spitting is nasty. Okay, so another unpopular opinion. I don't know how to phrase this, but I don't want to phrase it in a way that's going to be offensive. But let me just put it like this. For a country that's so strict about
but it's more of a behavior thing in my opinion. You know, in the subway in the morning, or in the bus or whatever, we often see Korean women, and also myself now, who sometimes touches up their makeup or even does their whole makeup in the subway, which I think is great. Like, spend your time wisely.
Opportunities if you want to take it to learn the new language. Cultural immersion. You have the opportunity not only to immerse yourself in a new language, but to immerse yourself in a whole new culture, because the culture here in Korea is very specific to Korea. Where we grew up in the States, the culture is totally different.
And if you want to go anywhere else outside of the United States and Canada, it's going to take you forever to get there. But if you're in Korea, you could take like a quick weekend trip to Japan for $100. It's so affordable and you get to experience a whole different culture. Maybe you want to go to Japan.
More about who you are.
I would say, having lived here the first couple years, there's a lot of silence. As in, like, I can't talk about these things with people who are in the States because they don't get it. I don't have a good, friend here in Korea who's understanding where I'm coming from, so I just can't talk to him about
Korea really isn't all that. Still a beautiful country, still love it, but that is the truth. Okay, and now my second unpopular opinion. This one, I feel like some people may be like, but I feel like it has to be said.
You're completely naked. You gotta take all your clothes off and you're bathing together. There are different temperatures of water, so there's like a 20 Celsius, 10 Celsius, I don't know. I just know there was hot and cold. Do that. There are saunas, you'd go in naked. And then after you get dressed, you put the jjimjilbang outfit on. I'm sure you've seen it in dramas.
Which is crazy to think about. So the fact that I can do things like this here, it just expands the value of the whole day, because in Denmark, when the sun sets, especially in the winter at like 3-4 p.m. and it's dark and I'm in the countryside or wherever I am, I can't really, the day's done.
Friends that I really love. So obviously I had that connection with some people, and I'm not saying everyone is like this, but in my experience in the past 5 years, 85-90% of the people that I have met here was like this. Like, during first dates, Koreans would ask you things like, what does your parents do? Which company do you work at? Which school do you go?
Cater for foreigners. So why are you now not catering for me as you have said you do? Then I get that. But then for you to come to Korea and be like, oh, I don't like Korean food, I cannot find Western food anywhere, like this country is horrible. No, it isn't. You are the problem.
So much fun, and to me, I think because there's so much competition and reputation, in general, you're gonna find more of people who are trustworthy and safe, even without doing tons of research, as opposed to just any old person opening a shop. So for Korea, it's been like a skincare and beauty wonderland for me.
Never felt happier than when I'm making YouTube videos. Yes, sometimes I'm exhausted from editing. Sometimes I cry because it feels too difficult. I'm just out for a little jog/walk thing because I've been